Good morning and welcome to Ascending the Tepeyac. This is our third program that we have on this series of reviewing the Gospels from last Sunday. And today we're going to be talking about the testimony that we're giving to the world, because Jesus is inviting us to be light of the world and salt of the earth. This is sometimes a little bit complicated and we don't know how to address it, but it is very simple, just giving testimony. Let us begin. Okay, so last Sunday we were hearing this gospel after the Beatitudes. If you remember, in the Beatitudes, Jesus was telling us, blessed are the poor, blessed are the ones who suffer. But now he's talking to us directly and saying, you are. So it is important that we realize that he's talking directly to us, because in the last Beatitude, he was saying, blessed are you if they persecute you because of me. And now he's saying, this is what is going to happen. You're going to be persecuted, maybe not, but probably yes. And why? Because we are living in a world that kind of detests what Christ brings us. We're in a world that not everybody is happy about loving. They prefer hate than love. But we understand that, and they are our brothers and sisters either way. And we have to consider that we are called to be living in a society where we are surrounded by people that may not like what we do. But what is important is to realize, who are we following? Are we doing the things for the sake of popularity? Are we doing the things to be recognized by everybody? Or do we do it because it is our internal call? Is that we feel that that's what we are being called to do in the world. Being light of the world, it is a challenge, because Jesus said in the gospel, you don't bring a lamp to put it under the table or under a basket or under the bed. And what is this meaning? Well, when he's telling us this about the light, he said, you don't take a lamp to then cover it with a basket, because the basket will not allow the light to go out. If we put it under the bed is going to cover the light, and it will not be doing the job, because the job of the light is not to be light itself, but is to illumine around us. I went to Cuernavaca, and I was proclaiming the gospel, and when I got to the Ambo, I realized there was not much light. And I was looking at the letters and I said, oh my God, I could hardly read. I struggled so much, because sometimes we go to retreats and we are in dark places, but we use a lamp to light the letters, because without the light, it is hard to read. Without a light, it's hard to see. Without a light, it's hard to enjoy what is around us, because we don't even know. When we are walking in the darkness, we are tripping, we are falling, we are having accidents, because we don't see where we are going. The light comes to help us walk, to help us see, enjoy. So it's not complicated. And we need to realize that what light does is to bring out the best out of things, because the beautiful colors cannot be seen without light. And even on the sky, when it is raining, we can see the rainbow. And those beautiful colors of the rainbow are so great when you see them, and that is the light. The light mixed with the rain. It's creating this image for us. So light is beautiful, and we are called to be light of the world. And what this means is that we are to illumine not our lives, but others. If you like the sun very much, you can look at the sun, and guess what? Your eyes are going to be complaining about it, because we can hardly see it. But the light of the sun is what we have around us. In our beautiful days like today, that we have a sunny day here in El Paso, it's so beautiful. When it is cloudy, it's kind of sad because we don't see everything to their maximum. But when the light is there, then we can see everything beautiful. So our testimony is our light. And the testimony is not for us, but it's for others. Because we try to have people understanding what we're going through so they can also discover. Discovering God is a great, great gift. It's a grace. But if you don't know Jesus, you have not had an encounter with him, you're struggling in your life, and suddenly you see somebody who is living a much better life. It's a life with no complaining. It's a life of peace, of love. And you realize that they are so fortunate. But when we think about our lives, sometimes it's because we want to have possessions, money, power, and that's what is forcing us to do in life, to get more and more and more. And the more we get, the more we want. So it's hard. When the Gospel of Mark and Luke, they tell us about the light. They say, we don't put the light under the bed. And what this means is that sometimes we just want to be resting. Sometimes we like to just rest, to be on bed and say, oh, okay, I'm going to be here and I'm waiting for God to fix my life. No, that doesn't work this way. We should not put the light under the bed. The light should be high on a lamp, on a pedestal to light everybody. The higher you put it, the better you're going to illumine around. You should not put it in a bushel basket. That's another gospel saying that. And what is a bushel basket? Well, that's called a liter of wood. A liter of wood is kind of strange, the name. But what it means is when they were selling grain, they have a way of measuring by putting it there in the bushel basket. And it was 1 liter of grain, where you could put water, you could put grain, but it was 1 liter. So it was the same measure for those. And what it means is when you put the light under the bushel basket is that you are measuring the light. You are saying, how much am I doing? Some people say, oh, I went to Mass, so that's okay. I went to Mass and I was there for 40 minutes and then I left, but 40 minutes is enough for being there. And we are measuring the time, the efforts, what we're giving to God. And you don't have a lamp to put it in a bushel basket because you're not supposed to be measuring what you're giving to God, because he doesn't measure what he's giving you. He's not telling you, okay, how many hours has the day? I'm going to give you only half of them with good health. I'm going to give you only half of them with oxygen. You know, it will be crazy, no? Because God is not measuring what he's given us. He's given us all we need to live. He's given us everything we need to be successful in life. He's not measuring it. And when we're measuring it, we're in trouble. You see it in a relationship when the husband starts counting something and tell the wife, you know, you have been doing this to me this many times. What this means is I have been keeping a grudge. I have been counting the times and I have not expressed it. I have not said it. And that's wrong, because we are not supposed to be measuring. We should be a light for the world. And the other says, you don't put a lamp under the table. And what is the table? That's the place where we eat. That's the place where we share in conversation. And having a lamp under the table, it is like we are giving priority to our nourishment and also giving priority to having conversations with our family, with our friends. And sometimes we are called to go into the world and give testimony, and sometimes we are going to be hungry. And that's part of it. So the light of the world, it is a very important idea that we should follow, illuminating the world for others. But Jesus also says in the gospel, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. And why is this? Because when we have a city and we put it on top of a hill, it's going to be a reference for everybody. People will see it from a distance. When it's in a valley, when it's in a flat area, it's not that easy to see. But when you put it on a mountain, it is there for people to see. And that's a problem sometimes, because we have in our lives that responsibility. For instance, being a deacon in my case, I know that Jesus is putting me like a city on a hill because I am visible. People are listening to me, people are looking at me, and whatever I say, whatever I do, can be a stumbling block for people, can be a reason for some people to walk away from the church. And that responsibility is complicated. Why? Because when you are like a city on a hill, people will see you no matter what. Even when you don't want them to see you, they will see you. And unfortunately, it is complicated. You know, I remember the story about a man who went to confession, and he told the priest, "Father, I'm here to confess, but actually I have nothing to confess." He said, "Why?" "Because I don't have any sins." So the priest looked at him and said, "Okay, if you don't have any sins, please come tomorrow, half hour before the early mass, and I will give you your penance then." So next day he comes to church early. He's very excited, and he gets to the priest, and the priest says, "Okay, you ready? What you're going to do, you're going to get into that niche where the saints are. We're going to remove one saint, and you are going to get into that niche so people can see you there." And he said, "But Father, why?" "Well, you don't have any sins. You're already a saint. So let's go there." And he climbed on the niche. And he was standing there as people were walking into church. And they started saying, "What is that drunken doing there? What is that thief doing there? What is that adulterer doing there?" And they start getting all his sins. Because no matter what, even if we don't want, people are looking at us. And when we make mistakes, people will see us. Because we are a lamp. We are a light for the world. And sometimes our light is not bright. And when it is not bright, people still can see it. So it's important to realize that Jesus is inviting us to give testimony as light of the world. But what happens if none of us are light for the world? So what's going to be the light of the world? Only the sun? So what's going to happen when someone is under stress or feeling oppressed or feeling, who are they going to? Who are they going to call? Who are they going to ask for help if there's nobody? That's why we are light of the world. And as light of the world, we're responsible for what we do because people are looking at us. And people who are in darkness will come to you and say, "Can you help me? I don't know what to do." Or sometimes they just come and say, "Oh, you are so pious. Can you help me on this?" And you understand. When they give you this type of expressions, even they're making fun of you, but they're asking for help because that's who they are. People struggling, people who need light, and we are light of the world. The other part, the salt. The salt is a little bit more complicated because there are several reasons why we have salt. But the salt has the most basic job is to season the food. But when you put salt, it's not like the food is going to taste like salt. We put salt, and salt is going to bring out the flavor of things. Have you ever eaten an egg without salt? When you eat it, it's like, what is this? I don't get the flavor. But you put a little bit of salt and then you taste it and say, wow, it's a nice flavor. Because the taste, just like the light, is not to be eaten. You don't eat salt by spoons. You put a little bit of salt on the food and that's how you eat it. It's like the light. We don't have a huge lamp that people can hardly see when we put it on. But the light that we have, it's illuminating around so people can see around them. The salt is putting the food there, the salt there, so the true flavor can come up, which is beautiful. So we are salt of the earth because we are giving flavor to the world. If we are not the salt of the earth, what is going to season the lives? Sometimes I have conversations with my wife, and when I tell her, well, I think this way, and she says, well, I think opposite to you. And I say, but how can it be that you are so different to me? And she said, isn't that great? Because if we were the same, it would be so boring. I had no defense when she says that. Because definitely the difference of opinions help us to have discussions, conversations. If we thought the same, if we had the same ideas, if we had exactly everything the same, we wouldn't be even talking because we are just the same. But when she tells me about what she's going through, what she's feeling, and so I could listen to her and help her find the true meaning of things. Help her find the best decision, the best way to solve the problem. I'm helping her because I'm allowing her to get the juices from her. I don't tell her what to do. If you know my wife, you know she will not allow me to tell her what to do. That's not the way. She makes her own decisions. But when we are as a married couple, when we are together making a decision, we get consensus and we go for it. But being salt of the earth, it's helping her get her juices up, helping her to get her ideas. Sometimes I tell her something and she says, I don't understand you. I think this is wrong. But later say, now I get it. And what is it? I'm being salt. I'm seasoning. Yeah. Sometimes my daughters tell me that I'm poking the bear. Because when she's in a position that she doesn't want to change, then I use sarcasm to challenge her. And they say, Dad, you're poking the bear. No, I'm not poking the bear. I know who I married. So I know she's going to react. She's going to understand. But that is giving flavor. Our relationship, if it was sweet and sweet and sweet, both of us will be diabetic of so much sweetness. And we need to put some flavor in it. And the flavor is when we have disagreements. But always center on getting the best out of the other person. There's a big difference between sarcasm and irony. And when you are sarcastic, you challenge the other person and you say, okay, so if you can see, you will realize this. So because I didn't realize it, so that means that I'm blind? That is sarcasm. You say it, and the other person sometimes may feel offended. Sometimes the other person may feel upset. But when you use irony, that's when you say, Oh, yeah, I'm the worst person in the world. I know. I'm always wrong because everything I do, nobody likes. And so that's different. And that hurts. That goes inside of you. You punish yourself because you don't like what you're saying, what you're doing. But sarcasm is different. One of my daughters, they call it Miss Sarcasm because probably she got my style on this. I like to do that. And sometimes I go to church and when I'm preaching, I tell them, well, there's this sin or this problem, but here in our community, nobody does that, right? That's sarcasm. But I don't do it to offend anyone. And I don't do it to make them feel bad. But I'm just putting a little bit of salt on the wound, like they call it, because we are salt of the earth. But also the salt has other functions that are important. One of the functions the salt has is to preserve. Food used to be preserved by putting salt. What happened, probably you have tasted the jerkies, that's dry meat. And how do they do that? They take the raw meat and they put it in salt. And what's going to happen? It's going to be preserved, it's going to be maintained, it's going to get darker, harder, but it will not decompose because salt preserves. I like very much a story about two friends who were in an island. They were trapped in that island, and one day, one of them got upset, and he went to fight with the other and say, I'm tired of being here with you. I don't know what I'm doing here, and you don't help me at all, so you are the best companion that I have ever had. And he starts fighting with him, and he goes and takes a piece of wood, a very, very thin piece of wood, and goes to the sand on the island, and he writes, my friend fought with me. The waves came, the wind came, and the message was erased. One day, he was getting into the water and he was drowning. His friend jumped into the sea and brought him back. Then he took some rocks, and on the rock he wrote, my friend saved me. He asked him, why? Why did you write this message here on the rock? And he said, because when I was upset with you, I wrote it on the sand. And it's going to be erased soon. But when you did something good for me, I want to remember it forever. I want to remember it forever. And the salt was used for covenants of salt. That's in the Old Testament. The covenants of salt, that's when people agree to do something and they will make it as a contract on a skin, and then they will put salt. And what will happen? The words, the message will stay on the skin. They will not be erased. That's a covenant of salt. So we are salt of the earth because we are seasoning around, we are preserving the message of God into the world, but also we are going to be there forever. Because we are to be there giving the message of the gospel, helping people, and that's for our whole life. It's not only for a few days or a few months or weeks. It's forever. We are called to be salt of the earth forever. We are called to be light of the world forever. Because just think about it. Who taught you how to pray? Think about the first time you put your hands together to pray. Who taught you? Probably was your mother. Maybe it was your grandmother. Maybe there was an aunt who taught you. And they gave you prayer for the rest of your life. They help you how to pray forever. And that salt in your life has preserved the image of prayer. I remember the prayer of the guardian angel. When I was very young, I was doing every night before going to bed, I have to do the prayer of the guardian angel. And I knew it by heart. And every time that we are talking about it, just comes into my mind because I learned it. Because just like the salt, it was ingrained in me and it has been preserved in me. So, are we light of the world? Are we salt of the earth? Hopefully so. Because if we do that, we are walking, not getting people's attention on us, but helping them get attention on their own, helping them to discover who they were made to be. It's sometimes hard because some people don't want you to tell them anything. Some people don't want you to challenge them. And you are trying to get the best out of them. Evangelizing, my brothers and sisters, has been sometimes considered like doing something for people that are poor. But Bishop Samuel Ruiz from San Cristobal in Chiapas, Mexico, he wrote, "I came to evangelize, and they evangelized me." How was this? He was a very well-prepared, well-formed bishop, but the people, the humble people of the jungles, they evangelized him. Pope Francis was telling us that sometimes we want to go to poor places and we can want to talk to them about God. And sometimes we use a language they can hardly understand. Because God is the one who gives us the iPhones. God is giving us the latest in fashion clothes for us. They look at you and they don't understand you because they are not wearing those. They don't have those things we have. And what are we doing? We are not evangelizing. They are evangelizing us with their simplicity, with their love for one another. My mother used to go to the poor areas and take food. And when I was on vacation in my hometown, I used to go with her to help her. And one day, we went to a little cottage. And the lady there, when we got there, she was so excited that we brought some food. And she immediately started cooking for us. And she invited us to be there. We stayed for a little bit more, and she made some tortillas. She handmade the tortillas. They were, oh my God, incredible. And we ate beans and rice with tortillas. When we went home, it was time to have lunch with the whole family. My father, my brothers, everybody was there at table. And they were talking about the business, they were talking about things that they were trying to do. And one of them was not in agreement, and they started discussing, and they were raising the voice, and they ended up fighting. And my mother looked at me and she said, "Wasn't it nicer when we were with the poor people? Because they don't have this. They don't fight for anything because they are appreciative of what they have and they enjoy their life as it is. But when we are in a different position, we start fighting, struggling, and wanting more." So, the invitation, my brothers and sisters, let's give testimony. And this testimony, no matter what, you're already given it. Don't worry. It's not like saying, "No, I don't want to give testimony." Yes, you are, because you are baptized. And when you are baptized, you are salt of the earth and light of the world, no matter what. People are seeing you. And if you don't go to church, if you don't have a religious life, you don't have a spiritual life, people see you. And guess what? They say, oh, these Catholics. The testimony that we give as Catholics is terrible sometimes because they say Catholics don't like to go to the church, Catholics don't like to read the Bible, Catholics, and that's not true for everyone. But that's the reputation that we have. Because being baptized means that you are light of the world. But if we don't light the world, so what are we doing? We are just confounding people. We are just illuminating around us so people can look at us. We don't illuminate them, but we illuminate us. And that's a sin, my brothers and sisters. That's a sin. We are giving testimony no matter what. We are giving a good testimony, but also we can be giving a bad testimony, because a testimony is a testimony. That's a testification of your actions, a witness of your actions. That's what it is. And if you don't want, you say, no, I don't want to give testimony, you are giving a poor testimony because you don't want to give. See the point? So I invite you today to reflect on this. Are you giving flavor to the people around you? And giving flavor sometimes, maybe you're getting people upset. Is that being salt of the earth? Maybe, because not only we can say that when things are fine, that's when the Spirit of God is with us. Because the Jesuits in the discernment of spirits, they say that sometimes your life may be very comfortable, very nice, and you think that it's a spirit of good that is with you, and might be a spirit of evil that is with you, trying to convince you or convert you from doing good. So we have to be careful. We have to watch out around us. This is a complicated task, but give testimony of love and you will never err. Well, we're running out of time, my brothers and sisters, and this is our third program. We made the original proposal of having 5 programs only, and see if we have people who likes this or not. Maybe if you are watching this program and you like it, just leave us a comment or just give it a like, and we'll find the reactions. If we see that it's not helping, then instead of being a light in the world, I become a nuisance because some people say, I don't want to be listening to this guy. Well, let me know. I'm okay. Not everything I do is successful. Why? Because I do what my heart tells me. And sometimes I do things and may not work. But if this program is something you like, let us know so we can continue with it. So this is our third program, and we are over half of the project that we had, and you will let us know if we continue or not. The Lord be with you. May the blessing of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit descend upon you and remain with you forever. Amen. God bless you. Have a great week.